Hi, this is Mario with FitnessTestLab.com. I'm taking a few minutes out of my workday today to bring you a short review on Kettlebell Kings competition kettlebells. I've got 6 here in front of me. These are being used in my office kettlebell club. I want to say up front, I'm not evaluating these as a kettlebell sport lifter. I don't do kettlebell sport. I'm strictly evaluating them from a home use perspective, or even in this setting, an office use perspective. So my kettlebell club meets twice a week. There's anywhere from 8 to 12 people that meet twice weekly to basically go through kettlebell routines. And we've been using these kettlebells and putting them to the test. So I'll just kind of want to briefly cover the history of the different designs that I've got represented up here. So the first one, this kettlebell I've owned for about a year. This is the original design, as I'll call it, that has a bare steel finish. Now, this may work great for kettlebell sport, but for home fitness use, it hasn't worked all that great because the bare metal finish, as you might imagine, doesn't really jive well with sweaty palms. So it requires a pretty hefty amount of chalk use, which is, this office little area where we do our kettlebell club is carpeted, so we can't use a lot of chalk. And I also don't like using a lot of chalk at home for similar reasons. So this one has been kind of sitting here. It gets used, but just not as much as, let's say, some of our cast iron kettlebells. Thankfully, in recent, sometime within the last year, I'm not exactly sure when, Kettlebell Kings moved away from the bare steel finish to a pitted steel finish. This change by itself is a huge step up in terms of grip because the pitting allows for just a stronger retention of grip. Now, even more recently, I'd say maybe in the last 4 months, they've gone a step further and introduced a new handle design. So this new handle design, there's basically 2 major changes that it comes with. The first and most visible difference is a cone-shaped handle. You can see that here versus the rectangular shape of this handle. So this cone is not just for looks, it actually has a purpose. And I'll demonstrate with these lighter kettlebells. So you can see the cone, this is the cone here. This extends down a little bit, it actually is touching my arm. And so more of the surface area of the kettlebell is actually resting on my arm. So this is actually quite comfortable to hold for a long period of time versus the existing design, which is not cone-shaped, which requires most of the weight of the kettlebell to be focused on just this one little area. It's probably hard to see with the camera, but you can see that not as much of the kettlebell is on my arm when compared to this guy. Or at least I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can or not. But trust me, it feels different and it's much more comfortable. Now in practice, when I'm swinging these, when I'm cleaning, when I'm snatching, it's really hard for me to notice a difference because my technique's not that clean, but I imagine an elite kettlebell sport lifter would probably notice. Now that's great and all, but there's another change that is even more interesting to me personally, and that is the handle geometry. So they've gone from a standard 35 millimeter handle to an oval-shaped handle. Standard 35 millimeter diameter handle to an oval-shaped handle that is 33 millimeters wide by 35 millimeters tall. So 2 millimeters doesn't sound like much, and it really isn't, but it does make a difference in terms of grip. Now it's hard to explain, but just the little 2 millimeter difference just makes this a much nicer grip. It just feels much more natural. And you can also see that these kettlebells have a curved grip as opposed to just a straight flat grip, as let's say one of these guys. And that curve, coupled with the change in geometry, makes this a very easy kettlebell to hold onto for a long period of time, even without the use of chalk. So I really like this new design, and so does the club, actually. People fight, well, not quite fight, I'm not going to go that far, but these kettlebells, the ones with the new handle design, get picked first when we're choosing which kettlebells to use for the club. So what else can I say about these? I just like them. These are a really good option for home use. The only thing that you need to be aware of if you're going to use these for home use is that since they are competition kettlebells, they are bare steel, so you're going to have to maybe take a little better care of these than you would a cast iron kettlebell that has a coating on it. So you've got to clean these off, make sure they're dry whenever you're done with them. Another thing to be aware of is that if you want to use these for two-hand swings, the window is smaller, it's smaller by design. They're not designed for two-hand swings, they're designed for kettlebell sport, which is all one-handed. But if you do want to use these for two-hand swings, you've got to be aware that you're going to have to deal with some cramped fingers. It's not bad, but as you can see, I don't have big hands, so I have an easier time than, let's say, other people in the club that have larger hands than I do. But it's just something to be aware of. If you don't intend to be doing a lot of two-hand swings, it's not going to be a problem. But overall, these are great quality kettlebells. I also should mention they're a hollow core design, single cast. There's no fillers in these, no plate that gets welded on, so there's no chance of stuff coming loose to rattle as you're using them. Overall, they're just really good kettlebells, guys. I mean, you can't go wrong with these. And that's it. If you want more details, unboxing pictures, more in-depth write-up, some explanations of some of the workouts that we do in the club, then just check out the full review. It's on fitnesstestlab.com. I'll include a link in the comments below. And if there's anything you'd like to know that I've not covered either in the written review or this video review, then just leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer you. Thanks a lot.